Yo, what's up, everyone? Um, Probably the earliest I've done this stream. The game's still going on. I'm pretty sure, right? For the quarter, they're down 40 now. Decided to start the stream early because there's nothing. I didn't want to watch the rest of the game. There's nothing else to really learn about in garbage time. So might as well just talk about this game early. Be efficient with my time. But where should we start? I mean, obviously, game three. This was gonna be Minnesota's best punch. You're not shocked by the result. I mean, like losing this game was completely acceptable, if you want to call it, right. It was understandable. There was a reason why the line was 2.5. There's a reason why the Thunder weren't heavy favorites for once in the series because that's just how these road playoff games go, especially when you're playing against a good team. Understandable, but they looked awful considering every single circumstance possible. Considering they're playing on the road, considering that um obviously Minnesota was going to throw their best punch. Even considering all those factors, they looked awful today, and I think there's a few things to be concerned about beyond the series. Obviously a lot of things happen bad in this game. The Thunder also will adjust. It's a playoff series, right? So like again, I understand why people want to be more cautious, right? With like overreacting, saying like we've seen teams get blown out in playoff series and then comfortably come back and win the series. That's not the issue. I mean, they're still up 2-1, right? But like Minnesota, the first two games are basically a wash now in terms of like how they performed against them. It really doesn't mean much because Minnesota stayed in their base. They played man to man coverage, and obviously, obviously the Thunder were comfortable against that. I don't think anything really matters. Um, in terms of going forward in the series, now Minnesota knows they can't play man. Now we're going to game four, and they're very comfortable loading up on Shai. They're very comfortable at pressuring everyone. That was the biggest thing in my opinion. What I saw was they were pressuring everyone up the ball outside of Shai. In game one and two, they did the same thing, but they also did pressure Shai. And when you pressure Shai, he just completely beat you down the floor every single time with his speed and ball handling and everything whatsoever. But um, yeah, like the biggest thing is they didn't pressure Shai this game, and they forced him to shoot pull up threes. And once they forced them to shoot pull up threes, they forced them they forced them to play a bit slower, forced them to see bodies. Like Shea definitely looked a bit flustered back there. I mean, this isn't a coverage he hasn't seen before, but it was a huge shift from what he saw from game one and two to game three, and he definitely was caught a bit off guard. But either way, it was inexcusable. Like they've seen these looks before. It was inexcusable to perform that bad, inexcusable to just crumble like that. But again, this wasn't even just an offensive thing. The defense was arguably as bad, if not worse. I mean, right now, Minnesota has 120 points with 7.5 minutes left, and that lead just keeps going. But obviously, it doesn't matter what's happening in the fourth quarter. Um, I will say like the beginning of the third quarter, there was some promise playing single big, maybe single big helps you a little bit in this matchup. But like either way, like the biggest thing is you're gonna have to have that good shooting series finally. I think today's shot 11 of 36 right now. They shot really bad in the first half, but like they need to be confident as shooters also because it's not just like shooting well. Like guys like Dort, J Dub, Caruso, they're getting so many good looks. They cannot be passing it up. Especially if they're gonna guard Shea like this. It feels like we just I know the adjustments were obviously gonna be made, but it feels like we're playing an entirely different series now. And that's what Chris Finch is known for. Chris Finch is known for making drastic shifts game by game, not throughout the game. Finch is like confident in one thing. He does not change the game plan. He does not change the game plan at all during the game. He only changes his game plan after the game is finished and after he gets all the data. That's why in game one and game two, despite the Wolves getting destroyed, not destroyed, but like the Wolves struggling, he stayed with the man-to-man coverage. Now he's made the drastic change, and now they're gonna prepare. But I said this while watching the game live. as much as confident as I want to be in Mark making adjustments and Mark responding to this, the issue is that the Thunder just don't have many ways to go when teams in terms like figure them out offensively or find ways to slow them down. They don't have the offensive personnel. They don't have that many shooters. They don't have that many good ball handlers. Like they try throwing out AJ out there to help relieve some ball handling pressure, but like AJ is really not doing anything in the series realistically, right? He's a rookie. And then you put Joe if you want more shooting, but Joe's also been pretty poor all playoffs as a shooter. He's so limited as a shooter. He's pretty small. Like that's why I'm feeling a little concerned right now. Again, I tweeted it out. I was most likely not going to be too concerned about anything that happened today because I know Minnesota's going to be thrown a kitchen sink. I know Minnesota's going to be at home. It makes sense to lose this type of game. But the fact that the Thunder just don't really have much of a counter to their half court defense is what is worrying me, right? It feels like you're gonna be very reliant on Shane J-Dub hitting pull up threes. You're gonna be relying on Dort. I mean, it's gonna be really a series where Dort, Wallace, and Cruz are gonna have to hit those 3-point shots over short closeouts. It's gonna be a really, really tough time for this offense, um, going forward in this series. And that was the main thing. The main question was, will Minnesota finally be able to establish themselves defensively, like find like a scheme that they're comfortable in because they're not good, they're not comfortable in zone, so they're never gonna play zone. But if now that they found like okay, we can play the gaps heavily, we can force Shea to make the extra pass, we can force Shea to hit the pull up three. Now they look in the zone, they look like they're the top tier defense they've always been. So now you get to that not the concerning part of the series, but now you're really being tested right now. Caruso better get a start on Monday, whether it's for Dort or I Yeah, I don't know like who should start. Honestly, I don't think Cruz has been particularly awesome as well. Though I definitely want him to start out of all these guys. But you cannot start double big. Double big is just not. It's just not. It's just not gonna do anything in this matchup. Minnesota's too athletic. Minnesota's too quick. Um, Minnesota's too quick to run double big. You just can't do that. You have to find a different lineup. You have to find a better spacing lineup to do this. Do you think there's any chance Mark actually moves away from starting the double bigs? Yeah, I think there's a legit chance. Like this game, it is kind of crazy. Like we're up 2-1. We're up 2-1. So obviously, like it kind of feels crazy to talk about drastic adjustments lineup wise, but it does kind of feel like that game versus Dallas, right? Where you bench Giddy, right? And not I heard it's not Giddy, but you put Joe in. It's like an obvious change. You just need more shooting. I just think like game one they subbed Chet out in 3 minutes into the game for Kaysen. Game two they subbed him. They subbed Chet out 5 minutes in the game. This game was 6 minutes. Like it is every single game. The leash gets longer, but every single time they start off pretty poorly. So at this point, start with um just start with single big and see where that takes you. Um, but yeah, I have so much. We have so much to talk about right now. So I'll just answer some questions right now. Um, I'm very confident we don't play that bad enough to lose 3 games when we only need to win two. Yeah, that's the good thing that we just handle business at home. You're up 2-0, but now it's a completely different series, right? It's a completely different series, so you're a little less. It's like those results matter less, but you still get the upper hand. You have to win what two of the final two of the final five. Wait, no, two of the final four, right? Yeah, two of the final 4 games. So they're in a good situation that wise, but you put in a lot of pressure for game four. You have to make some. You're gonna make some. You're gonna have. Now forced to make drastic changes, and I talked about this. I think in this stream like a while ago, like the Thunder have never been blown out in the Shea and Mark era in the playoffs, and they always keep games close because of their defense. They always keep games close because of how to game manage and don't turn the ball over. That completely happened for the first time. They turned the ball over a pretty good amount. 14 turnovers and the game's still going. I mean, only 14. Or maybe it felt more because I guess Shane J-Dub turned the ball over, right? Yeah, Shane J-Dub turned the ball over each 4 times. Probably felt a bit louder. Minnesota only turned the ball over 9 times. So they win the possession battle with the turnovers. They out rebound you. And obviously the shot making is a huge difference. Any idea why Wolves played kept their starters in a little late? I don't know why not. Did 9 turnovers in the first quarter. Yeah, yeah, it definitely felt like yeah. I think that's probably it. They established like the turnover generation early on. They established like the ball pressure early on. That's probably why I felt a little louder. But like that 100% set the tone, right? The first quarter was really where this game was lost. Like whatever happened after that, obviously they weren't able to establish much rhythm after that. But it was mainly the first quarter where they were able to establish like how they wanted to play. The Thunder weren't able to get them out that coverage. Because that's the biggest thing. If a team's going to put a lot of ball pressure on you, if a team's going to be playing a certain way, the biggest thing is you're always going to have to get them out those coverages. You're going to have to be able to shoot well, stuff like that, you know? It's hard to win a game where any team shoots 50% plus. Yeah, no. If Minnesota just wins this game, it's another thing. It's not about that. The thing is that they dominated this game by 44 points. Like, if Minnesota shot, what did they shoot today? Shot 50%. Number is going to move up and down because the game's still going, right? The number is going to go a little up and down right now. But, like, they shot what 50% from free. Even if they shot a little worse, they're still comfortably winning the game. Just like any game where the Thunder lose a turnover battle, they're just probably not going to win. They're not good enough of a half court offense to withstand that. I mean, I don't know how many times that's happened in the playoffs. There's a chance it's only happened like one time all postseason, maybe twice, where the Thunder lose a turnover battle. I mean, that's where they get so much of their transition offense. That's how they slow teams down, right? Like, I mean, 126 points with 5 minutes left. That's absurd. I don't know how Shai wasn't ready for the doubles when everyone knows it's coming. Shai, Shai, Shai in game freeze has been really bad. I think Shea is also really bad when teams hard to adjust. That first game, he's very slow to adjust to what the defense is giving, and that's not a good thing, obviously. But same thing happened against Denver. He was really poor. And those game 3 and 4 of that series when they were on even more zone, and then he obviously adjusted in the latter part of the series. But like, he takes a while to adjust. I'm just hoping he's able to figure it out by game 4. It's not like something that carries over to game 5, 6, and 7. If those happen, obviously, that's the hope. But like, yeah, Shea's usually not prepared for major adjustments. That's what I've realized just watching him in the playoffs the last few years. Chet needs to force the Wolves to shoot more instead of letting them get wide paint look. Uh, Chet's really not being a great rim protector this series. I noticed that like he he's lost he's I don't know if he's lost some of his lift because of the injury, obviously, him coming back from the hip injury. I don't know if that's what happened, but like he definitely seems a bit of he definitely isn't getting like great contests on these shots around the rim. I think Ant finished on him pretty easily. Nas Reed did. Like Randall got a few drives on him. Like he's not being able to make that big of an impact with his contest this series. But I think he's looked pretty solid offensively, which is kind of funny. But yeah, check yeah, and that's the thing. You can just hope maybe that this is the thing that this is the thing that comes back for Chet next year. He always had great lift. He always had great timing. Usually, like I feel like he barely even blocks shots. Like unless it's uh, like he's barely blocking shots when he's like 1-on-1 in the paint anymore off a drive. Right? He just he just hasn't got the same lift anymore. So hopefully that's a thing that comes back next year when he's obviously hopefully a bit more healthy. But like he he's not being a good rim protector this series right now. Does Kaysen have to start to help with ball handling? Hate watching Door dribble. Then no, there was this play. Oh god, there was this play. I think second quarter where Dort and Ihart are just doing dribble handoffs like back to back, and they almost they turn over once, and the second time's almost a turnover. And I'm asking myself like, what are you creating here? What is the advantage? Like so much of the Thunder offense, I think my biggest issue is like because they have so many weaker offensive players, so much of the Thunder offense just becomes like you're just not creating anything. You're just doing useless things. You're just adding useless layers. Like, what is a Dort and Hardenstein dribble handoff gonna do? They just don't have enough like truly talented ball handlers, truly talented offensive players at times. Game 4 is a must win for them, but we looked. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you win Game 4, obviously none of this matters. But it's just like That's a tough turnaround. That's a tough turnaround after losing by damn near. I mean, it might be 50. It might be 50 by the time this game ends. 45. It's gonna be a tough turnaround no matter what. And also another thing is the Thunder didn't really. The Thunder obviously won the first two games controllably, but like they also did not blow them out either. So like Minnesota's the first one to get like a huge punch in the series, like the first one that truly like dominated a game. So to say, like the Thunder have dominated quarters. Minnesota is the first one to dominate a game for a full 48 minutes, and need to see Shea. Yeah, it's probably the best way you relieve this type of coverage because if he's on the ball, they're just sitting on, they're just forcing him to shoot pull up threes right now. So like, I would just rather him like initiate off the ball. Thoughts on the Joe slump? Yeah, I take the loss on that. I called for Isaiah Joe to play a lot more minutes last round, and he completely has proven me wrong. I mean, yeah, he's proven me wrong. He's been really bad this postseason, man. When he's got the minutes in, at this point, I think no matter what, you're gonna have to upgrade over him or package him this offseason because first of all, you weren't comfortable playing him last round, and then like Dallas series was pretty fine, but just overall like maybe his wrist is cooked. It might be a wrist injury or something like that. Yeah, but like how confident am I in game 4? I mean, this is the first time they've ever played off a blowout in their entire lives in the playoffs, and one of the first times all year. Also, they've only got blown out like what, maybe like twice this season, right? Twice the regular season. I don't even know. It could be probably less. I'll say if I'm going out of 10, I'll probably say like 5 or 6. I'll say 5 or 6. Um, hey, the Thunder cut it to 39. That's great. Who's making the shots? Who's making the shots? Let's see this real quick. Who's making the shots? Hey, shout out. Let's say Usman Jang making a 3-pointer. That's actually super funny. But yeah, I really wish I was right about Joe, but he's not giving him good minutes at all this series. And fly by, the only shot he made today was that fly by mid range, which is always there. But like, he's just not a tough 3-point shooter. He can hit from a little deep, but like he's not a tough 3-point shooter. He can't shoot over closeouts. That's an issue with the entire team. So he's not really adding you anything else. And if he's only playing for shooting, you can probably get someone who does that a little better. I'm like 9 beers down, so bear with me. Is it a concern? OKC got blown out. It's a concern. Yeah, it's a concern. I don't. I will never say like a game where you could completely dominate like this. It's just straight up just shooting. Again, if Minnesota shot bad today or like mediocre today, let's say they shoot 35%, so they make like 13 3-pointers. That's still 20 points off the board. They're still probably winning. It wasn't just dictated to shooting today. If it's a closer game, Minnesota shoots 50% from free, we can have this conversation. But no, like they dominated every aspect in this game. Yeah, it all starts with Shea. Yeah, we can talk about Shea a little more also. Like Shay's just gotta come out with better urgency, better decision making. He's just gotta come out more prepared for these coverages. Like again, he cannot be this bad every time a team adjusts. It's a common theme with him. He can be good. He'll be good the game after the game, few games after that. But like man, early on in the series, the first time they adjust, huge. He just completely loses his mind, and this is why I honestly kind of felt like it was gonna be a bad game from the start. Like the second that Shea started hesitating, Shea wasn't decisive with where he wanted to go. I always started to feel a little bit off about this game. They're saying Luca Garza's cooking. Okay, Dylan Jones, let's go, man. Yeah, no, no. Like the fact they got stripped when Rudy Gobert was the one hard blitzing was insane. Yeah, that 4 turnovers from him is really rare. But like him, but it was just not even Shea. It was also Jada. But like obviously, like Shea's shortcomings obviously matter a lot more. Yeah, Shea got to the paint what 2 or 3 times today, maybe at most, maybe 3 or 4. I might be underselling it, but like, and I understand that was partly because Minnesota was more comfortable with him shooting 3-pointers. But like, you're too good of a player to just like let them dictate where you want them to go, right? and this was something that he did against Denver in Game 3 and most of Game 4. So again, I'm confident he can adjust from this, but like it is a bad thing when your MVP can just have games where he just completely just like basically just gives up on the game, right? Damn near. Might have to give Dylan Jones minutes. No, this is not happening. This is not happening. This is not happening. But like the fact is, like they can definitely. So Minnesota officially wins by 42. But the fact is, Minnesota has definitely figured out something um in terms of slowing like Shai and man coverages. They're gonna play this exact scheme until the Thunder figure it out. So average game 4, average game 5, game 6. Like it's on to Shai and the Thunder for forcing them out of these coverages. Yeah, and if you're talking about figuring out coverages, and has completely uh beat the Thunder right now. He's just playing much more faster. He's just beating them to the spots. He's running away from double teams, right? He's just understanding that he needs to play faster. And I think Shea should understand that too. You know, if you play faster, no matter what coverage you're getting, if you play faster, most of the time when you're that good of a ball handler, you're going to be able to beat the defense in some way. So, kind of, I don't know if you guys remember, but like Shea versus Denver, when he played faster, when he played an early offense, he started to get going, obviously, right? So, this is on Shea to adjust, and clearly has. I don't know what you want to do against Edwards now, um, because you're gonna have to figure out something. He had 30 points today on insane efficiency from inside and outside the arc. Um, yeah, I don't know if you really want to. I don't know if you really want to blitz because if you blitz, obviously you're gonna hold up my fault. If you blitz, you're obviously gonna let the other Timberwolves players shoot, and they've been shooting really well. Um, they shot really well today, so I don't know if you want to blitz him, but like maybe you throw. I don't think Dort's done a good job on him either. That's one thing. I don't think Dort's done a good enough job on him. Maybe again you start Caruso. Maybe you have Caruso on him, fight through screens, but yeah, and should not be able to get in the paint this easily when you're playing pretty aggressive against him. Um, yeah, the first couple minutes of the game were awful. Uh, Zach said, "I really don't think the Thunder can beat the Pacers. I know it seems bad." Yeah, I mean, I'm not thinking about the Pacers series right now, obviously, but like, just I'll speak on that for like a second. Like, no, like I don't agree with you saying they can't beat them, but I also say like, there's no reason for there's no reason for us to be extremely confident against any series as until the offense completely shows that they can stay consistent against these coverages. Like there's too many games where the offense just dries out. Like any series that the Thunder play, any playoff game to play is gonna be a tough one going here on out. All these teams are really good for a reason. Yeah, Gobert was sending hella illegal screens. Yeah, buddy, that's another thing. Like Dort has had his moments this playoffs, right? He had that game 5, fourth quarter. He proved me wrong. He shut me up. I wanted him out the game, right? Going into that fourth quarter. He shut me up. But for the most part, if we take out 1 or 2 quarters where Dort has shot really well, he has not been a 30-minute or 25-minute player this playoffs. You've gotta be fair here. You've gotta give Cruz or a case in the edge. I liked how SJ looked to start games in the middle of the season when we had single bigs. Yeah, I just do think double big makes it so much more easier to be aggressive against Shea. There's just no reason why you should just be. I think there's no reason to put it out in game 4. No reason to put it out in game 4. Yeah, he saved our season in game 5, but like like Jessica was saying, like he hasn't been impactful enough defensively to warrant this leash that he usually has. And this is also another thing with Dort. Like how impactful is he defensively in most of these matchups now? Like we last series, he had some resistance against Murray, but like he wasn't a huge difference maker. He didn't make him have a horrible series. He's not doing that to end right now. Round one, round one he was pretty good. Round one he was really good, but Thoughts on J Dub taking 9 shots. Yeah, similar thing to Shea. They both weren't aggressive enough. I think J Dub only shot a few shots inside the arc. Yeah, he only shot 4 times inside the arc. 5 of his shots were 3 pointers. Again, they're now playing really aggressive against Shea and J Dub in the mid range. They basically adjusted their coverages, and it's kind of crazy. I don't think I've ever seen like a team really do this outside of like Michael Jordan or someone like that, right? But they're basically saying Shea and J Dub go beat us from the 3 point line, go beat us on pull up threes. You're not getting a pull up two off. So it's what most teams do is do the opposite. They let you play the middle of the floor. They let you operate in the middle of the floor, let you make those shots, and take away the pull up three. But because Shea and J Dub are so much better inside in that middle of the floor area, they're telling Shea and J Dub to just shoot from there. And the issue is not even that they're shooting bad, right? Shea shot 2 of 5, J Dub shot 2 of 5. The issue is that Shea and J Dub are comfortable and they hesitate. So even when they don't shoot, a lot of the times they're just gonna pass it out. A lot of the times they're just gonna reset the possession. A lot of these times, and yeah, Shea is too passive to start games. I think he did a lot better job against Denver to close out the series to be aggressive, but I think we need Kenrich minutes. They could try it. They could try it. Like small ball did work. They didn't really go back to it. I don't understand why they went to J Will. I think J Will playing today was insane. I want maybe someone in the chat here, 50 people in there, maybe one person that can explain what advantage does J Will give us in this particular matchup for those minutes. I'm not even looking at the stat sheet, but like, it just felt like there wasn't really any reason why he was playing over Kenrich. I would have much rather just play Kenrich and try to run him off the floor in small ball. You think we took too many threes? I feel like we shot 44 today. I mean, I don't think like the Thunder won in this game saying they're gonna shoot a lot of threes. It's just like again, like I said, Minnesota is now forcing them to hit those 3 pointers, right? Instead of like letting them play man to man. This is just what Minnesota's doing now. They didn't do it in the first 2 games. They played 1-on-1 basically the entire time. And yeah, Gabi, I don't know why we went. Wait, Gabi saying why we went small. So do you think like double big would have been better in your opinion? Thoughts on AJ for game 4? Uh, so I think they played him a few minutes to end that second quarter. Damn, I didn't. I guess AJ went off in garbage time, so I didn't get to see that. Obviously, I wasn't watching that, but yeah, I thought the minutes that they basically Minnesota just ignored him. Why we didn't go small? Okay, yeah, my bad. Yeah, Gabi, I was a little confused. Yeah, I was like, I don't really understand what you're trying to say. Yeah, yeah. I don't understand why they didn't go small either. Like playing J Will, playing J Will those minutes early on over Kenrich just made no sense. Like we literally have evidence of Kenrich running Minnesota off the floor, in multiple Minnesota matchups this year. It just made no sense to do that. Yeah, I mean AJ minutes, I could definitely understand why Mark would go to it. You know, they needed more ball handling. Minnesota's pressured him so much. It made a lot of sense to go to it. He shot 2 3 pointers in the first half. They both went off, but Minnesota wasn't respecting him. But I can see the idea. I can see the idea. Chet doesn't box out. He always waits. Yeah, Chet was really bad today, man. Chet was really really bad today on defense in the box outs. This was like the first, I think the first game in a while where I was really frustrated at Chet's like effort defensively and on the boards. I thought he did a really good job to close out the Denver series in the first 2 games, but he was really bad today. I don't know how many boards he ended up with, 5 boards, but he let Rudy push him around a bit. He did fight for position at all. Honestly, I think Mark was on some bullshit this game. But Mark was on bullshit on rotations because he just didn't know what to do. Nothing was working, and I think that's the biggest reason why. Like I'm slightly concerned. Like they just couldn't find any lineup, any like iteration. Like again, they didn't play much small. Even though I really don't understand why they didn't try to go small. But like everything else just looked awful. Like try playing Shea next to shooters, Shea next to ball handlers. Uh, The J-Dub minutes, like you've gotta come out with something more than this. And yeah, Shea was checked out today, man. Like, and I think that's another thing that happens when Shea has these slow offensive starts. He was he was awful today, man. Shea, really the entire big three. Like we just came from game two, where the entire big three had their best game ever, maybe collectively, in terms of defense and offense. And this game, like at least Shea and Chet, I think Jada was pretty fine. Shada was pretty fine defensively. He wasn't as good as game two, obviously, but like Shea and Chet completely lost this game effort wise. Also, Hamadi, bro, we can't have a good 3 point shooting game because they just don't have. At this point, we've got to accept it, right? It's never gonna happen. It's just never gonna happen because they just don't have 3 point shooters and that can play. The only natural shooters they have are Joe and Wiggins, and they haven't been shooting that well all playoffs. And even Joe, like he really can't shoot off closeouts. Like he gets all these guys hesitate way too much. None of these guys, um, like even Jaden McDaniels is hesitating less than some of our shooters, man. Falls on Wiggins. I don't particularly remember his minutes much today. I don't really, I don't remember him doing anything good or bad, but I guess I think the Wiggins and J Dub minutes were pretty bad in the bench. Like the bench minutes were really bad today. Like we can talk about the starting five, but like the second that Shea went out the game, the early second quarter, um, like J Dub again. Like I think it was I said earlier, like J Dub Hardenstein, Dort, they were just doing a bunch of dribble handoffs. They were creating nothing. Again, this was just an absolute F game from like every angle. I can't even find anything positive to talk about, which kind of feels impossible, you know? No, bro, that Shea hesitation where he got that mid range. He finally got some space in the middle of the floor, and then he hesitates, turns the ball over when Gobert gets a hand up. That was probably like the full on dagger. Like, and that's the thing. Like they're just playing him way higher in the mid range, and Shea's not ready for it. Rudy usually plays a deep drop. Today he was playing more at the level. He was playing at the free throw line, so Shea wasn't prepared for Rudy to be like even in his like vicinity, and he obviously just hesitates, gets a turnover. Like just too many dumb plays today. Too many dumb plays. Watch how many heavily contested. Um, watch how many heavily contested frees many hit with a hand in his face. Yeah, but that's what Minnesota does, obviously, right? Like Minnesota's good shooting. Minnesota's aggressive on shooting a lot of these lively contested three pointers, like McDaniel's and Randall, Edwards, Dante, Nas. Like these guys are all so much more comfortable shooting three pointers than any of the Thunder guys. Like this is just what's gonna happen. Like despite the numbers, I think regular season, I think Minnesota uh might have shot worse than OKC in the regular season. But like Minnesota's it's just a much better shooting team, much better shooting talent on that team. Yeah, bench minutes have been really bad this entire like the last few games, especially. Yeah, but again, like I mean, Shea was awful today. Also, I'm not just gonna completely like warp on the bench minutes. Like they got destroyed in the Shea minutes. Also, our lack of paint scores cost us. They did. That's also another thing. When you're playing double big, it's fine, right? You get some advantages of getting paint scoring, but the issue is both of the Thunder's bigs, Hartenstein and Shed, are so limited offensively around the rim in terms of like punishing mismatches. It makes double big so much like less impactful offensively. You know, like what's really the point of playing double big if you can't even get those mismatches? You can't even score inside the paint off those pick and rolls. Frost and Dort defense this series. Yeah, I talked about it earlier. Like just not impactful enough. He's dying on screens early. Um, like he's doing a fine job like keeping the ball in front of him early on, but like he just hasn't been able to do enough this series. I mean, Minnesota's just Minnesota's just switch hunting every single play, so I just don't really understand if there's any need for Dort to play this many minutes. He's just not gonna make that big of an impact. Teams to win a playoff game by 40 plus have never lost a series. That's a crazy stat. That's a scary stat too. Yeah, because like I said again, like it's hard to turn around when a team dominates you from this many aspects. You know, like there's so many things the Thunder have to change and get right before Game 4. They have to figure out. They have to figure out their half court offense. They have to figure out uh how to counter Minnesota's gapping. They need to rebound and be a lot better. Uh they need to be a lot more comfortable against pressure. And that I don't know how much that can change, with the personnel. Like you're gonna have to maybe play more ball handlers. Like maybe playing AJ is literally what's gonna happen, right? Um you're gonna have to fix the defense, you're gonna have to fix the overhelping a bit. Like no go the playing Jokic and then Gobert back to back is awful, man. It's awful because like you can just get everyone out to pay, out to play immediately. So I just honestly at this point I just rather just not play Door like many minutes because it's not his fault directly, but like if you can't fight over the screen well, you're just gonna be out to play every single time. Poku to go like they aren't gonna shoot like that again, but they also might not need to at least like stay in a game, let alone win one. Yeah, Minnesota's bench was insane today. Is there a way to get any sort of offensive punches, or is it just forcing turnovers? It really just is forcing turnovers, man. Like the way Shea and Jada play, it's really hard to like. It's really really hard to generate offensive like explosions. It's mainly just gonna come off forcing turnovers, just uh hitting those 3 pointers in transition. Those are like the only times you're gonna get good looks, honestly. Yeah, especially for the non-Shea guys. Especially for the non-Shea guys. Like I think Shea's like comfortable finishing around Rudy, but he's also not comfortable shooting like now that Rudy's playing a little higher up, right? He's not comfortable shooting that mid range as much. I think honestly, you're gonna have to have Shea look to attack the paint a lot more off these pick and rolls. Stop looking for the midi. He's gonna have to try to get all the way to the rim, which is good. It's not an easy task. It's gonna be hard to finish over Gobert um, multiple times, but that's probably what it's gonna have to do. That mid range is probably gonna be taken away in the pick and roll now. The defense is what worried me today. Even with a bad shooting night, it's the defense. Yeah, yeah. This is probably the worst defensive game of the year, right? I might be wrong, but like this is probably like the most points they've allowed all season. By far, the worst defensive game in playoff history. I mean, in the Shea Mark era, right? And yeah, that is concerning. Like again, I cannot believe that Edwards was this comfortable today. I did not think there was like a one looking like before the series. I don't really think there was an outcome where Edwards really like beat them getting downhill, beat them as like a mid range scorer, as like a finisher. But like he really is doing that back to back games. Like he shot bad from free in game one and game two, but he was finishing well. He was hitting the mid range well, and now this is 3 straight games of doing that. So yeah, I don't. That's what's really like. That's what's really getting to me. That's what's really getting to me right now in terms of confidence. Like I don't think our defense is overrated, but like it relies so much on turnover generation. Now that Minnesota is playing safe with the ball, it got completely taken away. Got to attack Gobert or lead again in foul trouble. Yeah. Again, issue is like they didn't get all the way in the paint. Shea wasn't drawing fouls because he just couldn't get in the paint. Same with all our ball handlers. We need to put more pressure on the rim. Like this was a perfect game for Minnesota, man. I'm just like thinking about it. Like they took away every single strength of the Thunder. They took away our turnover generation. They took away Shane Jacobs mid range. They took away um our ability to put pressure on the rim. There's so much work to be done in this series, and I can understand if someone wants to say this game is a fluke. There's aspects that are fluky, right? Um, I mean, he was playing so fast paced, you would think it would lead to turnovers, but they're so poised and controlled. Yeah, Minnesota's out there running every single time, but shot. I think another shot was like Mike Conley. Mike Conley was like really smart with the ball today. Like he's really good. Like they just get the ball to him in transition, him or Edwards, right? And they're really good at like dictating the pace and understanding where to attack. And I think that's maybe might be another issue for the Thunder. They don't have that many players comfortable with the ball. Like outside of Shea and Dub, if you get like even someone for like the Wolves, like they have what Edwards, Randall, Conley, Dante. Those like four guys that are really comfortable with the ball in their hands, right? And then guys like Nas and McDaniels, even Terrence Shannon in the minutes he played, right? Those guys are also like comfortable to get all the way to the rim, shoot off closeouts. Like the Thunder only have like two guys. Like anyone else on the team, they're not going to be comfortable in transition. They're not going to be comfortable creating their own offense. Like it's honestly insane that a team with only two players who can really create anything at all or ever look to attack or look to score for themselves has lived this far offensively. Even J-Dub's handle shaky at times. Yeah, I do think he's been pretty fine for most of the playoffs in terms of like not turning the ball over, but like today his handle was super loose. He was like just playing a lot of out of control. I think Minnesota digged on his drives a few times. I think four turnovers. Yeah, him and Shea. The bench for OKC is not all that. Mm, I will say like the offensive bench, the offensive pieces of the bench. I would agree with that. Like the Wiggins and Joe just have not given much all postseason now. Like I think Wiggins had like 2 games where he's made like a legit offensive impact, like give them an offensive like push. But outside of that, man, like they've just consistently not been impactful. They've just it's almost like I keep saying this word confidence, right? But like the Wiggins literally is so hesitant sometimes. Like he picks up the ball so early. And the same with Joe. Joe is just not comfortable shooting closeouts. Like the Thunder need more confident players going forward. They need more confident players. I'm tired of just having two players that are comfortable doing anything offensively outside spot up 3 pointers. No, yes, it was a do or die game for Minnesota. Yes, it was. But like you would think we'd stop running double bigs. Yeah, I think there's a decent chance they go away from double bigs. I don't know who they start in place. Probably like because they started Joe out of half, but they're down a lot, right? So it might be a little different. Um, maybe they just go Caruso. They double down on like speed and defense. Maybe they go Kaysen because like he's always a safe bet. But like Kaysen did not do anything today, bro. Kaysen 0 shots. Yeah, Kaysen was really a quiet factor today. We should have traded Joe for Cam Johnson. Yeah, the Joe stuff sucks because now you just have like your one shooter just being able to do nothing. I don't. It's just a shitty spot to be in right now. Wiggins in the regular season looks so comfortable. He's creating for himself by attacking. In the playoffs, he literally only looks to shoot catch and shoot freeze. Yep, that's the thing. Now that teams are, scheming up more, because Wiggins really is like a not one trick pony, but kind of is like a two-trick pony. Like all he's gonna do really is like hit that like low dribble gather into like that floater, or he's gonna have or the turnaround mid range or the catch and shoot free. There's only 2 or 3 things he can do when he has the ball in his hands. It's very predictable. Just close him out. He's not athletic enough. I think that's another thing. How many athletes do the Thunder have offensively? Like that's another conversation. Like we can talk about being comfortable with the ball, but how many athletes do they have? Like J Dub's obviously an athlete, right? Um, Kaysen is, but he's like a super small one. Like they just don't have players who can like take over space quickly, can attack in space. How do you even explain the 3 point shooting falling off? For us, they were just I just didn't think they were generating good looks. I think I can explain it by saying Shea didn't get deep enough in the paint. Shea didn't force any the defense to move. So naturally like the looks were worse. Like when Shea was getting deep in the paint and just kicking it out, you're getting better looks, you know? Obviously, guys like the stream and subscribe if you guys are watching. But yeah, look, spam dump. That's probably like a good. That's a good shout. Like they don't have a player who's comfortable in attacking quickly. Like do you watch Jaden McDaniels? Like he does so many little things for them offensively. Uh, he's comfortable shooting that catch and shoot free immediately. He's comfortable hitting that mid range once he's closed out on. Who on the Thunder is doing that? Who on the Thunder is like you close out hard on and you're gonna get like a good look at the rim. You're gonna um is my volume low? Is my mic volume low? Yo, let me know if my mic volume is low. I'll turn it up if so. We got nobody that can slash. It was embarrassing that we could get no layups in Jokic and zone. Yeah, they just don't have athletes. Yeah, that's mainly the thing. When you don't have athletes, when you don't have confident shooters, a lot of the things are gonna get ugly really quick. Ugly really quick. Yeah, what's up, Sean? All right, let me try to turn up my volume a little higher. All right, let me check now. Can you guys hear me a little better now? My fault. I feel it's a little low. All right. Main thing they have to make open shots when they have them. Yeah, I agree with Sam, but like they're also not generating good shots. The first, like we can get to that. Like the second part is obviously important. Like you have to make your open shots, but first we have to find a way to generate open shots, in the first place. Like please change it up, please, man, please. Like you have to stay aggressive. You cannot become this complacent. I'm just looking right now at some of the garbage time stuff. Dylan scored 10. It was scored. The garbage squad did pretty good, man. I don't know why Kendrick didn't play in the early minutes. Like he did. We can check his plus minus actually right now. Like what was Kendrick Williams in the first few games? Plus 19. Um. So they didn't play. I didn't realize that they did not play Kendrick at all in game two. I mean, they played him for 2 minutes, obviously, but like they saw. That's interesting. Mark saw Kendrick. Does Oklahoma? All right, bro. That's crazy. Yeah, they didn't really go back to Kendrick at all this series after seeing his minutes work out. I don't really understand why Mark did that. I thought. I thought in game one he was experimenting and see what was gonna work, and it clearly did work. Right? We literally all saw it. He was able to run faster. He was able to collapse the defense. He was able to hit shots. Kendrick is low key like one of the better shooters the Thunder have. Kendrick is like, yeah, low key just one of the better shooters the Thunder have. I don't know why I hesitated. And he can do some stuff off the catch. Like he might just be like a high minute player in the series. And I would rather play small than play double big. As crazy as it sounds, like I would just rather just never play double big. And the second that shuts out the game, you obviously give I heart some looks, as some single big. But other than that, I would like to go Kenrich at the five in some minutes and just try to outpace them, force some turnovers. I think that's another thing. When you play smaller, you're gonna force a lot more turnovers as well. They're gonna have to collapse the paint and wait for us to beat them at dribble. Fun fact: we won't be able to. Yeah, this is. It just feels like more I talk about this game, it just feels more gloomy in terms of like they're gonna have to adjust a lot. A lot. I'm trying to think of like solutions like on the fly right now. Like what can they actually do? Don't see any reason Joe or Jay will should get burned over Kenny today, especially Jay will. Like Joe is one thing, right? Like Joe, he's playing horrible, but at least like he provides something that's different. What is Jay will providing, bro? I love Jay Will. What is he providing, man? Like he's just gonna make you slower offensively and defensively. He's not providing any real spacing because teams don't respect the shot that much, and he's not athletic enough. Like just play Kenrich, just play faster. You don't want to slow the game down against an athletic team. You know, you're never gonna win that battle. I really do wonder what they do against Ant. Do they just start blitzing him? Do they just straight up just start blitz? What does Wiggins provide? I don't know. I don't know. Wiggins and Joe, I just don't know what they provide on a game to game basis anymore. It's it's so easy to take them out of games as offensive options. Like I'll straight up tweet it right now. Like the Thunder need, no matter if they win a championship, lose a championship, as crazy as it sounds, even if they win a championship, right? They're gonna have to. There's so many ways to improve this team. There's so many ways to just improve your margin of error. There's no reason why you should be relying on Joe and Wiggins to be the third and fourth guy to help you offensively. You know? Yeah, they sent more doubles at end in game 1 and 2. Today they kind of let him play a little more space. But even when they did double, Ant was like pretty fast at like attacking it. You know? Yeah, not getting Cam Johnson. I It's so funny because like it's like cliche in Thunder Twitter now. You know, like every time we play bad, like we should have got Cam Johnson, but like it's honestly is just true. No, RJ. I was first quarter. I was so confused why Ant and Gobert pick and roll happened, and the Thunder just died on the screen and let Ant get it pulled up free that he eventually just made. Why are you just letting them get that pick and roll off? Why are you not just blitzing? Force Gobert to make a play in the middle of the floor. Make him make a pass. Make him make a shot. Like force him to do anything outside of just giving the second best shooter in the world a pull up three. Yeah, and that reverts on I think it was Shai, right? As a help side defender was crazy. But that's what happens when you play faster. You're gonna have some plays where you just beat the double. Like Shai needs to understand that too. Don't let them just pressure you, lay in the shot clock. Like please just play faster. They keep falling for Ant-Man on going to other win screens. Yes, the point of attack defense has been awful this series. Point of attack defense and screen navigation, they're completely flustered right now. Do you think the legal screen calls have been inconsistent? Definitely. But like that's like the sixth or seventh issue, you know, for the team today. I'm not gonna. Yeah, if you trap Gobert, I mean if you trap Ant and force Gobert to score, like the plan should always be in every single game against the Wolves, and that's what they did good in game 1 and 2, is force Gobert off the floor offensively. As much as people want to talk about him, you know, as his flaws, he's a great defensive player in terms of just like making you think on making you think on offense, right? Just altering shots, you know, deflecting teams away from the paint. If you can go bear out the game defensively, it opens up so much more for Shea and J-Dub driving, Shea and J-Dub out of pick and rolls. You have to make him unplayable offensively. You have to find a way to like. I think there's like a few plays where Gobert gets the ball on the middle of the floor, smack, easy turnover. It happened a few times. Like please, just trap every single screen with Gobert in it. Yeah, we all know we were gonna. Yeah, game one, bro, game one. You know another thing is Mystics. Like I will say, like the refs have definitely adjusted a lot. They have not let the Thunder, like the complaints from game one worked, I guess, because like they have not let the Thunder touch like these players on these screens. Um, Cruz has been getting called for some bullshit fouls, like bullshit touch fouls the last few games, which they just weren't doing in game one. And I understand the adjustment obviously, but like that's also been a part of it. But like the screen navigation in game one was beautiful. Like Minnesota offense looked dead, completely dead in terms of generating any offense in game one. Man, it looked really good. It looked really promising. Yeah, I don't know why Cruz is getting called for some of these things. The Gobert screen is annoying. Why can't we stop that? He's just such a good screener, and they're also like again letting him get away with more contact, letting him get away with illegal screens, which is again you can't do anything but complain about that. But still, you need to find ways to just counter that. Just blitz the ball screen every time. If Gobert beats you by making a good decision, if Gobert beats you as a scorer, just live with it. Worst case, a few times they blitz, Shea is forced to foul him, and Gobert goes at the line, which is a 65% free throw shooter. That's worst case scenario, almost, right? Unless Gobert is actually going to be able to hit that push shot or put the ball on the floor and able to score out of that. That's almost always the worst case. It's just you have to follow Gobert, so you have to again just be more aggressive there. Closeouts this game, so yeah, the closeouts were bad. The, Shea and Chet were so bad today, man. I can't get the effort. The effort was awful. They were just playing dumb, just running across the floor. I mean, slow, just jogging across the floor, not really putting himself in good position to recover. Um, Shea was getting fried by Julius Randle today. Whenever he got to switch to like off close, either him closing out or him in the post. That's another thing we haven't talked about. Randle played so much better today. It was mainly just by Randle playing faster. They were playing a lot of again. Their pace today was insane. Minnesota's pace was insane today. They're running up the floor. They were hunting out mismatches. That was literally what they were doing. They basically attacked Shea. As much as I hate to say that, they were running attack Shea offense at times. Damn, we got a Knicks fan in here. Hey, y'all got it, bro. Y'all got it. It's not even 2 days. Yeah, they play on Monday, right? So cool, 48 hour turnaround or so, 45 hour. Yeah, I would love starting Caruso because I would love Caruso like just being able to start the series. So like you get the defensive versatility. He can punish Gobert. All the off ball defensive stuff he does, the screen navigation. Like I just don't think double big is stupid in this matchup, man. It's stupid. It's straight up just gonna kill you the longer you run it. Like please. I don't know why Shea wasn't fronting Randall. Yeah, again, Shea and Chet. I don't think that was a coaching thing. There's just no way Mark would have went away from it. I just think he wasn't fighting for position early on, and then there's just no. He just had no opportunity to front up. Again, he was very slow defensively today. Do you see? Do you see what Shea? See what the field house game seems like he needs. Anthony, I talked about the exact same thing at the beginning of the stream. The issue with Shea right now is he takes too long to adjust the screen, to adjust to new schemes. Obviously, Minnesota runs a very traditional scheme the first 2 games. First time they adjust today, he gets completely messed up. Same thing happening against Denver when they adjusted after game 2. She had a horrible game 3. Same thing's happening against in multiple series that he's played. Once teams adjust, that first game or two, he's gonna struggle so much. He eventually figures you out, but he takes way too long to figure out certain coverages. And you basically just have to forfeit games like this because like there's no way Shea is gonna lead a good enough offense here. Um, yeah, like Shea was just passing the ball early in possessions when he created nothing. He just gave up on possessions. Like if he didn't find the initial like shot, like he was just dribbling out the ball top of the key. Minnesota's giving out the pull up free. If he doesn't shoot the pull up free, he's just gonna pass it away because he can't attack the paint. He can't attack the mid range, so he just gives up on the possession. So yeah, very. I mean, all this entire game started with Shea. Do you see an obvious fix? Seems like Gobert coming out so far opens the rim. Yeah, yeah. Anthony, you kind of like saying everything I've said earlier, which I love. Like we're on the same page here. Like if Gobert's gonna be playing the level, if Gobert's gonna be trying to take away the mid range and coming up higher on the screens, it's just gonna be Shea having to beat him at the rim every single time. He's just gonna have to snake the pick and roll and try to score at the rim every single time. And you have to see how well he does on that. It's not an easy thing to do. I think Shea's finished fine on Gobert all series, but like no, it's not your fault, Anthony. It's not your fault. I'm just saying like we agree on this, right? We have to do that. Shea's gotta adjust to try to get more to the rim now. First few games they're shutting off the rim. Now they're shutting off the mid range. You've got to get more all the way into paint. And I think that's interesting by Minnesota because like as good as Shea is as a finisher, he is limited athletically at times, and he can sometimes struggle finishing through contact. So like I guess I guess like the goal is to just make Shea beat you with tough shots at the rim and just trust Gobert can like recover, which is an interesting scheme, interesting choice. And we'll see if Shea can obviously punish that in game 4. Yeah, Gobert. Yeah, and I think that's another issue of double big because once you play double big, so for example, let's say Randall, right? Randall's playing backline. He can just like play 2-on-1 back there, right? Because you don't have to respect teams don't respect Chet's jumper, and they can play 2-on-1 at the dunker spot. It's much more easier if you're playing four out, one in. So you have like three other perimeter players next to Shea, and then Shea at the dunker spot. Shea at the dunker spot is when the offense is at its best. You get those easy lobs. You get much better spacing. Double big is just completely cooked this series. I don't want to see it again. Maybe outside of like a spot 1 or 2 minutes, like uh, it would be worse than starting Giddy in that Maverick series almost. If you play double big again, because there's no way it physically can work. I didn't even realize J Will went 0 of 6 today. I will say I'm happy that he was at least like one of like the two players on the entire team who were like aggressive hunting their 3 point shot. But like again, doesn't mean much. Chet barely uses his jumper. I think at this point he's just not. I don't know. His jumper's just kind of flat. It's like it's really hard to rely on right now. He has a lot of development to do. I just feel like, especially like down the line of the game, his jumper gets flat. Can get blocked a lot. I understand why he's not shooting it much, but like he also shouldn't be relying on his jumpers in the first place. When you're playing double big, it puts a lot more pressure for Chet to make those jumpers, right? If he plays as a single big, it can be a lot easier for him to just get buckets around the rim, like he did in game 2, right? I think game 2, when the Thunder eventually went single big, Che got a lot of points off the pick and roll, just scoring around the rim, using his touch, using his, uh, getting some angles, using his length. I feel like almost always attacks off the screen. You don't see him target switches much. Would that be an option to try to get Gobert to follow Shea out and ISO him or force a double? It's a good question. It's a good question. I feel like yeah, that could be an option. I think Minnesota would just eventually just double. Minnesota was very comfortable switching everything in game 1 and 2, which is why Shea got going so much. Like they're letting Dante, Nikel, all these smaller defenders to get on. Hold up, give me a sec. Um, they were letting all these guys switch early on, last game, but today they were more like prone on just again Gobert play. I don't think they would be switching. No, I think if that answers the question, I don't think they would be switching in this type of scheme. I don't think that's something that's plausible. But I think Shea kind of just has to attack early. He just wasn't attacking early in the right spots because if you're they're basically giving up the pull up free, right, Anthony? So like no matter what, even if they switch, they might just switch and still give up Shea to pull up free. That's what's literally happening right now. Just force Shea and Jada to beat you with pull up frees. So I think no matter what, like it would be an option, but I just don't think it would do much. I think we're still in the same situation where she has to beat you all the way at the rim, and she has to get all the way there. But I think Minnesota's strategy is really good. Like you show a body early on Shea, you show Rudy early, so either Shea's gonna be forced to like pick up the ball in the mid range, or he's gonna kick it out. Right. Most of the times, it's very hard for like an offensive player to get all the way through the rim on just pick and rolls. Vegas made the call. Maybe, man. Maybe. Yeah. And that's the thing, man. Like end of the day, like as good as the first two games was, like Minnesota's an insane defensive team personnel wise. And it was always gonna come down to like some very tough shots for the Thunder. Some very tough like decisions to make, no matter what. So now Shea's just gonna have to be a really good finisher for the rest of the series. He's gonna have to be a really fast player. The only positive thing is we cannot play worse. Yeah, the positive thing is now your ass got kicked. You got a wake up call. This is by far the worst wake up call of years and years for Shay and Mark. So, you know, The worst thing is we gave them confidence to come back since we lost. Yeah, this is a brand new series, man. Yeah, Hotline Bling is a good song, by the way. That's a great username. Um, yeah, you gave them a lot of confidence. Again, that was a 2-1 series. There's really no advantage. They're at home now. It's a brand new series now. And now Minnesota's the aggressor, right? We were the aggressor in the first two games. We're forcing them to adjust. Now Minnesota's gonna be ready for us to adjust. Like they have the upper hand, even though it's a 2-1 series right now, because they're the last one to punch hard. If that makes sense. Did you see any major problems for the defense outside of point of attack and screens? Feels like they obviously shot and stayed from free, which probably isn't reliable every game. Yeah, I talked about the point of attack defense and screen navigation being really bad. So I think that's where it all starts, right? Like defense just starts with the initial pressure, the initial ball containment. So it starts there first of all. Um, but outside of that, I think Shai was sleeping off the ball defensively. Shai was sleeping off the ball defensively. He was um. Give me a sec, guys. He was sleeping off the ball defensively. Huge reason why they sucked on closeout so much. Another thing was Chet really struggled as a rim protector. I think Anthony that's something that's happened a lot this postseason. Chet's been a little late. He's contesting at the rim. He's been a step slow. He honestly looks like he lost some of his lift, right? So I think that's one of the other issues that the team's having right now. But pressure on the Wolves still. I don't know if that was an average offensive game for us. It was the worst I've seen. Yeah, the offense was dumb, but like, and the offense was definitely bad. I think the first quarter was where uh, the offense really like just killed itself. After that was like a little better, but like, yeah, defensively you can never really win this type of game. Yeah, the fact was Chet was kind of like a safety valve, right? He kind of just helped you get away with bad defensive plays, get away with uh making a lot of mistakes, but now he's definitely like lost a little bit of that edge he had. Shea was so lackadaisical. You can tell by his body language. Yeah, he literally went out the game immediately. All right, I got like 5, 6 more minutes I can go because like I have a meeting in like 10, 15 minutes, but I'll answer like questions for another 5 minutes or so before I gotta go. I might make a post game video, like a 15, 20 minute video, just like concising all my thoughts instead of like like a long stream. So like if anyone wants to like recap what I just said, like a 15, 20 minute form, I might just do that. But yeah, any last questions, any last comments, I'll answer for the next 5 minutes. But I might scroll through Twitter real quick just see if there's anything else to talk about. It is crazy though, like that team this good, like a six against 70 win caliber team, obviously. Like obviously like losing by this much. Like someone mentioned earlier, teams never won a championship while losing by 40 points in the same postseason. And obviously I'm not gonna concede that they have no chance at a championship now, but like this isn't just like this is a loss you can be concerned about. I know some people on Thunder Twitter are saying don't overreact, but like I think it's fair to have like a little bit of an opinion right now. Like, like have a little bit of hesitation in the series right now. Everyone's playing lazy even after tip off. You think the chance we're getting everybody. Minnesota's energy was insane today. Yeah. I will say I want the Thunder crowd as loud as they are. Like get more into it. Like like when I don't know how to explain it, but like Minnesota's crowd is like a basketball crowd. They're really good at you know making those high plays, making those high moments, making those runs. You make the other team feel like the chants were great, but I'm hoping that they're rested for game for a closeout. Hopefully, do you think we have to play into our 3 point deficiencies, or just keep shooting the good looks and hope for positive variation? At this point, Anthony, I think you just have to play into it a little more. You're gonna have to just find a way to generate offense more downhill. We just have too large of a sample of most of these guys not being good shooters to the point where I don't think Mark should be just be saying keep shooting these shots. Like a lot of these lightly contested 3-pointers just aren't good shots for most of these players. So at this point, I just want to say you have to play into it and just find ways to score more around the rim. Find ways to like also be a free throw reliant team. Be a team that puts a lot of pressure deep in the paint. That's got to be what you got to do at this point. Even if we win the series, the Pacers are going to give us hell. Yeah, I think no matter what, this should be a wake up call. I think the Thunder obviously can win the championship. I think they can beat the Pacers. I think they can win if they can and will win the series. But like no matter what, there's none of these series are gonna be 4 or 5 games. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm not gonna talk about the East series, but like maybe the Knicks. I don't think the Knicks match up well. But the Thunder's offense is too flawed to just like run teams out the gym. You know that's my biggest takeaway. All right, all right. I'd appreciate all of you if you like the stream. Uh, Again, I have to end it real quick right here, but subscribe. Obviously, I'm a live stream, posting videos during the entire playoffs, during the entire off season, next season. So if you just want some people to talk Thunder basketball about after every game, obviously stick around. Um, Appreciate all of y'all for coming out. Again, any last questions I'll answer and I'll respond to you in chat if I can't talk about it right now. But that's about it, man. Hopefully, Game 4 is a lot better. Hopefully, it's a lot more positive. This was kind of a gloomy stream. We didn't really have anything positive to talk about. Really, just talking about the deficiencies about the team. But these are the type of games you learn a lot about, man. All right, I appreciate all of y'all.